All right, last example here. This is number 4, example number 4. A spherical snowball melts at a rate of 256 pi over 3 centimeters cubed per second. At what rate is the radius of the snowball changing when the radius is 7 centimeters? Okay, so in this case, first of all, we have a sphere, right? So let's start there. So we have a spherical snowball, and we're talking about the radius, right? So radius of a sphere, we did that before in the other one, and we're talking about, and they don't tell us this here, but they give us this rate here, which is in cubic centimeters per second. So that's a volume rate, right? So this is V prime that they're actually giving us here. All right. And so we want something that relates volume with radius, right? And we have that. We've done that before. Volume of a sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed, right? And so that's our formula. We can see that on the formula page, or look it up. And so so what we want to do is we want to take the derivative of that, kind of inversing my colors here in this example from the previous ones, but we're going to ddt this one here, so we'll end up with V prime, and when we take the derivative, we're going to multiply by 3, so 4/3 times 3 is just 4, and then we get pi r squared, right? Take away 1 from the exponent, and then tag on the r prime. Okay, and then we know V prime, right? So we're going to plug in 256 pi over 3, right? And then this time they're asking for the radius, right? So they're saying at what rate is the radius? So they're asking for r prime. So I want to show you this example because so far we've been solving for the variable on the left, and it's just been pretty easy just to work out what's on the right. This time we have to solve for something on the right, so we're actually going to have to do some manipulation, and we're going to actually have to solve this equation for r prime. Okay, it's not too bad, just a little more, maybe 1 or 2 more steps. And then it says when the radius is 7 centimeters, right? And so let's see, use this. So when the radius is 7 centimeters, so r is 7. Okay. All right. So now we have everything we need to find r prime, right? So I purposely left something out here. So I want you to tell me, what am I missing? Yeah, and if you said that I'm missing a negative, you're exactly right, right? It's this problem says that a snowball melts at a rate of 256 pi over 3, right? So it's easy to overlook that and just start plugging in values. And they don't give us a negative symbol, but we have to include it, right? So don't forget that that's a negative rate there. So we have to put a negative in there for the rate of volume, right? Okay, so now we have everything we need. So it's going to be negative 256 pi all over 3 equals 4 pi times 7 squared times r prime. All right, and so basically we just have to work that out and then divide by whatever this is on both sides, right? So let me simplify a little bit more. So negative 256 pi over 3 equals, this would be 49 times 4, which is 196 pi, right? So we just tag the pi on there, and then times r prime. So now we just divide both sides by 196 pi, divide by 196 pi. So those pi's cancel out, and this is something where on this side everything cancels out, right, except for the r prime, and then here your pi's cancel out, and then you can plug this in your calculator, like negative 256 thirds over 196. You can do that in fraction form, and it will reduce that fraction for you. Yeah, and there are a couple other ways you can do it. Like you can just multiply 196 times 3 in the denominator, and then reduce that fraction, 256 over 3 times 196. So anyway, a few different ways you can do it, but the final answer should be, all right, and it comes out to negative 64, try to put a pi there, negative 64 over 147. And that equals r prime. Now think about what our units are going to be now that we're talking about r prime, right? Let me zoom out here. So what would our units be? Good. If you said just centimeters per second, that's great, right? Because now we're talking about one-dimensional, right? Our radius is a one-dimensional measurement. And so any kind of length, radius, even circumference, right, is the length around a circle, perimeter, side, all those things are one-dimensional, right? So you just have one-dimensional units. And if we're talking about related rates, it'd be one-dimensional units per time. All right, so that's related rates for you. I wanted to show you this. I promised you that I'd show you kind of increasing words, decreasing words page. So here you kind of have some of the words with their counterparts like grow, shrink, expand, contract, inflate, deflate, spread, evaporates, up, down. And some of these words don't exactly correspond, and there also might be synonyms that work, but these are all words that mean increasing and decreasing respectively, right? So that's something you can kind of write down or copy or add to and use to help you out on an assignment or a test or a quiz. All right, thanks for joining us, and see you in class. Bring questions, and let me know if you need anything.